Hello, beautiful truth seekers. Welcome in or welcome back to the Third Flame Tarot. My name is Amber. Thanks so much for being here. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you. Today's reading is going to be for the sign of Virgo. Virgo, welcome in to your June 2024 full-length reading here at the Third Flame Tarot. I am so happy to be here and happy to be sharing this time and space with you. So, astrologically speaking, Virgo, the month of June won't be very active. There's not really a whole lot going on in the sign of Virgo, but there is one very important thing happening in your sign, astrologically speaking, that is definitely worth talking about, and that is Lilith. So Lilith is an asteroid, and she's the dark goddess. She represents rebellion, feminine power, sexuality. She is very independent feminine energy. And Lilith went into your sign back in October on the 3rd and will remain in your sign until June 29th, which is a very significant day because on that same day, Saturn will go into retrograde in Pisces. So some pretty amazing things going on for the month of June, astrologically speaking, and it relates to everyone. So the Saturn retrograde will be a harvest energy. Saturn represents discipline, hard work, diligence. It is Capricorn's planet. But with it going into retrograde on the 29th, this will be a time for us to reap the rewards of all of our hard work and then kind of sit back and relax for the summer. So Virgo, there's some awesome things going on in your sign and astrologically that I think is really going to help push you forward as we get into your reading. I think it'll come out a bit more. But just a bit more about Lilith really quick. She's a rebellious, a shadow self, the dark goddess, right? And Virgo is more analytical and critical. So, with Lilith paired in your sign, you might become more analytical around your shadow aspects of yourself. So you'll have to be careful not to be hypercritical of yourself or others at this time, but it's also an amazing energy to harness your deepest desires. It'll be a time to embrace all of your imperfections in your shadow self. So I think Lilith in your sign, you have a few more days to really harness this energy. So I hope that you get everything you can out of the beautiful Lilith asteroid. But another thing about Lilith too is that she represents our karmic tests, so from October 3rd, if you can think back from October 3rd up until this point, what kind of tests have you encountered? And, what kind of karmic situations or repetitive patterns have you encountered since in that time frame, October 3rd to June 29th. It would be interesting to kind of use your detail and analytical skills to really take a look at your karmic patterns and where you can work through these shadow aspects of yourself and question why you do what you do and why you might be repeatedly manifesting a scenario in your 3D. But anyway, Virgo, before we start pulling cards, of course I have to talk about my meditation today. And today's meditation was very interesting. Before I go deep into meditation, I always use my singing bowl and I pray. And in my prayer, I always ask for the help and guidance of spirit guides, angels, allies, and ascended masters. And once I put my singing bowl down and I said my prayer, my whole room started cracking and shifting. And I kept my eyes closed. It was really hard for me to not want to open my eyes and look around me because there were so many sounds, but I kept my eyes closed, and I felt a breeze behind me, and I'm getting goosebumps as I'm talking about this, but I felt the breeze behind me, and in my mind's eye, I saw an angel. And this angel was not very tall. He was maybe 6 feet tall, and thinner but built, and covered in a very shiny brown leather armor. His head was bald, no hair that I can recall anywhere on his body. He was wearing like Roman attire, so like the kind of Roman style men's skirt with the pleats. He was wearing that, and he no hair, completely bald, and no facial features. So it was, his whole face was smooth. But the most interesting feature of this angel was the eye on his stomach. So his belly was like one big eye, and it was like blinking at me and like looking around the room. And it took a little bit out of me to not be startled by this, but I knew that this was a friend, not a foe, and I always pray for protection during my meditations. So, but the angel, I was in shock and just kind of frozen and staring. Now, this is my spirit body. I am sitting here in meditation with my eyes closed, but I do go third person perspective in my meditations at times. And this was one of those times. I was in third person, standing behind myself with the angel in the room. And he eventually he opens up his hand. So he reaches his hand out and opens up his palm. And in his palm is a small, milky white stone, an old antique key, and a single blade of grass. Now, I knew I was supposed to take it, so I reached out my hand and I grabbed the items out of his hand, and as soon as I did, he dissipated. So he disappeared. I'm still kind of overwhelmed by that experience, and it was like immediately, as soon as like I put my singing bowl down, all that happened. It was a rather intense experience, but amazing at the same time. And then I'm back in my body and I'm meditating, and I start to see a visual of a person. I can't see if it's a man or a woman, but I see a person in medical shrubs. I think that's what they're, scrubs, that's what they're called. In medical scrubs. They were light blue medical scrubs. And I could only see from about the chest or the lower neck down, but they were eating something, and I couldn't tell if it was ketchup or pasta sauce, but they spilled some kind of red food substance on their pants and were frustrated at that. And then the next scene I see is a medical building, and I'm in a medical room, in a doctor's office, like sitting in the room itself, not the waiting room, but the actual room with the table and the instruments, and there's a window. And I remember looking outside the window and just thinking as I was waiting, and I was just waiting. And then the next scene I see is an ear. So it was an ear laying on the ground. I first saw like a flash of ears on a tree, but that was like a really quick flash. And then I saw a left ear, a severed left ear laying on the ground. It wasn't bloody or gory or anything. It was just a left ear on the ground. And I remember looking at the ear and I was thinking, ear to the ground, right? Ear to the ground. I think that's a saying. I'm gonna have to look it up later. But I remember looking at this ear and thinking, ear to the ground, listen. And then a black crow flew up, swooped down, landed by the ear, picked it up in its mouth, looked at me, and then flew off with the ear in its mouth. And that was the end of my meditation. All right, Virgo, let's get into your reading. I am very intrigued to see how this is going to play out. So let's do it. Virgo. Virgo, beautiful Virgos. Welcome back. If this is not your first time to my channel, welcome back. If it is your first time to my channel, welcome in. I am so happy to have you, beautiful Virgo. Now, my mom is a Virgo, so I hold a special place in my heart for Virgos. She is like a master gardener. She loves the garden and plants, and she can just make a garden flourish without what looks to be no effort. And Virgo, you are a mutable earth sign. And the mutables are the analytical signs. Very detail oriented. Very detail oriented. Very good at analyzing the world around them and the patterns and people's behaviors, and yeah. Very good at the fine details, good at recognizing the fine details. You know, my mom is pretty funny though. She, like, her house is so clean and immaculate, and her garden is just beautiful and perfect. But if you open a cabinet or a drawer or a closet, it's an absolute mess. But I don't know if that's like a Virgo thing or if that's just, you know, the way the stars played out in her chart. But if you can relate to that, Virgo, I would love to hear about it. But yes, Virgo, the last reading, oh look, I split the deck. There's mutable. That's you. Mutable with Capricorn. There's Saturn. Just like I said, Saturn goes into retrograde June 29th, the same day that Lilith exits your house. All right, Spirit, we're here to get an energy reading for the sign of Virgo, please. June 2024, Virgo, energy update, please, Spirit. What do you have for the beautiful signs of Virgo? The Virgo collective, please. Virgo. Let's get 2 more shuffles. That's 1. Last shuffle. That's 2. Virgo. Virgo. All right, Spirit, 3 base cards for the sign of Virgo, please. Whoa, Capricorn came back out. Remember, I split the deck with the mutable and Capricorn was there. Capricorn came back out. Okay. Taurus. And lunar eclipse. All right, Virgo. So the first card out is the Capricorn card, which is the 10th house on the zodiac wheel. The 10th house is all about your work, your status, and where you end up in life. It's how the rest of the world sees you. But we also have Saturn here on the card, and I was talking about Lilith being out of your sign. Moving out of your sign on June 29th. And Saturn going into retrograde that same day in Pisces. And then we've got Taurus here, and Taurus is all about money. It's the second house on the zodiac wheel. It's all about your possessions and money. Taurus is a very strong sign. It's also an earth sign. Wow, we've got all the earth signs here, Virgo. You're an earth sign, Capricorn's an earth sign, and Taurus is an earth sign. That's all three earth energies in one reading. And then the next card we got is lunar eclipse. What a beautiful card. Let's read the lunar eclipse definition in the book. A lunar eclipse occurs during a full moon. Whoa! I know we don't have a lunar eclipse coming up, but we've got a full moon coming up on June 20th. And it's a full moon in Capricorn. And we got the Capricorn card here. Okay. A lunar eclipse occurs during a full moon. It is a supercharged ending, which inevitably means the new is right around the corner. It may feel uncomfortable or painful, as endings usually do, but it will bring about much needed change and renewal. The bright side is releasing outmoded ways, transformation, and growth. The shadow side is refusal to change, fear of letting go, emotional and psychological imbalance. Wow, so a supercharged ending, Virgo. And that's what I was talking about. Lilith is going to be exiting your sign. And Lilith is the dark goddess. So she comes into your life and typically will cause upheaval and chaos. But she also represents strong feminine power, independent feminine power, transformation, and growth. She is associated with Scorpio, and Scorpio is the 8th house on the zodiac wheel. It's all about power, magic, taboo. And Scorpio's planet is Pluto, which is the planet of transformation, growth, death, and rebirth. So a supercharged ending here with Capricorn going into retrograde. This definitely feels like you've been in a cycle of really hard work, working long hours at your job, working really hard on a project, working really hard at a relationship. And I feel an energy of a bit of exhaustion. But Spirit is saying here that, you know, this is coming to an ending, and pretty soon you're going to have some time to relax. You know, there's been a lot of changes in your life in this last 12 months. That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling a lot of big changes. And Spirit is saying that you're getting a supercharged new beginning. Like an ending is coming. There's going to be a time of repose, is what I'm really getting here, Virgo. Especially with my meditation, too. Like, I saw in my meditation somebody wearing smocks, like a nurse, right? Wearing smocks. And as we all know, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are a nurse. Of course, it absolutely could, and that would be amazing. I mean, you can't deny the synchronicities when you get so many of them stacked up in a reading. But nurses, in my mind, represent hard work. It's a selfless energy. Nurses, they help people. They're always looking for ways to better the world for the people around them. So Virgo, this to me feels like you've been working really hard to help the world around you, but you need a break for yourself. Yeah. All right, Spirit. What else do we have for the sign of Virgo? Virgo, please. What do we have for Virgo? Yes, Taurus is here. That is definitely, that's in my mind, that's work. That's how you make money. It's possessions and money. Yeah, this is definitely like, it could be as well, Virgo, that a career is coming to an end for you, or you're changing jobs. That definitely, I'm definitely getting that here. This could be a vacation too. I'm feeling definitely a repose from your work. Like you've been working really hard for a really long time, and a repose is coming. All right, Spirit, let's get 2 more shuffles here. That's 1. That's 2. All right, Spirit, what else do we have for the sign of Virgo that this story belongs to? Farmer. Snail. And Matsuke. So the first card out is the farmer, which symbolizes growth, sustenance, and patience. And that's exactly what I was talking about with Saturn going into retrograde. Growth, sustenance, and patience. It's like a farmer plants his seeds, right? And he takes care of his fields. He waters the plants every day for months and months and months. He puts effort into weeding and caring for the land and the little seeds. And eventually he will get a harvest. And that is definitely the feeling I'm getting here in your reading, is like you're reaping, you are reaping what you have sown, and there will be a repose. Like you're harvesting your hard work at this point. I'm feeling like if this is not an end of a job or career, it's definitely you're going to be getting accolades at work. Maybe a raise or a bonus. And then we've got safety, home, and attachment with the snail here. And the home is definitely a Virgo energy. Virgos are They kind of feel a little bit like Cancer to me. They're very homey people. They love to make their home beautiful and make it feel cozy and decorate. And this might mean, like, during this repose as well, you might be doing some of these things at home, making your home more cozy. That's a feeling that I'm getting. Maybe you're going on a staycation, like you've got some time off, but you just kind of want to stay home and just relax. A staycation. Yeah, I'm getting that with the snail here. And then Matsuke, rare, poetic, transformative. And that's definitely Lilith energy, transformation. It's also full moon energy, an ending that leads to a new beginning. And the lunar eclipse card here as well. Rare, poetic, and transformative. Matsuke. Beautiful. All right. Let's get into some tarot. All right, Spirit. What else do we have for the sign of Virgo, please? What else do we have for Virgo? Come on, cards. I'm shuffling all funny right now. There we go. All right, Spirit. What else do we have for the beautiful Virgo people that this story belongs to? Yeah, Virgo, I am definitely seeing a vacation or a staycation or something is coming up here. I keep seeing flashes in my mind too of like maybe a relationship that hasn't been going really well, or like if it's not a relationship that you've been in for a while, it's like some really bad dates or something. But I'm seeing like some scenarios like of a couple not really having a great time. It keeps flashing in my mind. All right, Spirit, what else do we have for Virgos? Let's get 2 more shuffles, please. 2 more shuffles. That's 1. All right, that's 2. Let's spin. Oh, that card wanted to fall out. We gotta take it. Let's just put it right here. Mystery card. I love a good mystery card. All right, Spirit, what else do we have for the sign of Virgo, please? What can you tell us about Capricorn, Taurus, and lunar eclipse being here? We've got 2 flippers here. Yeah, Hanged Man. Yes. And the Temptation. Yes. Okay, so the first card we got is the Hanged Man, which is a pause. It's all about a repose. A pause in your life. I mean, it can symbolize looking at things from another perspective, but in this reading, from what I'm getting so far, this definitely feels like a pause. Like you've been working really hard for a really long time, and now you're having either a staycation or you're going on vacation, but I don't see any cards to do with travel here. I've only seen the snail card, which has to do with home. That makes me feel like it's a staycation, but it's a break from work. And then the next card we got is the Temptation. Now, I'll have to kind of hold this card back because there's a bit of nudity. So, and I don't have enough fingers and you wouldn't be able to see the card if I just covered the whole thing up. So I'll just cover up the bits and put the card back here far. But this is the Temptation, which is another version of the Devil in this deck. And there was something I was reading about Lilith, the dark goddess, that has to do with temptations. Yes, karmic tests and temptations. Lilith can bring about karmic tests and temptations in your experience. So, and I kept seeing like bad dates or like a bad relationship or something. Like you might be tempted to re-enter a relationship, or let's ask Spirit. Spirit, what about the temptation here? What can you tell us about the temptation? Why did it show up here for Virgo? Why is the Temptation card here, please? Thank you. Yeah, look, we've got the Nine of Wands. It did come out in the reverse. But the Nine of Wands is a card of guardedness. And when it's in the reverse, I read it as your guards are down. Your guards are down. Let's ask more. Yeah, your guards are down towards the temptation. And on the card here, the lovers are at the bottom of the card. There is a man and a woman at the bottom of the card here. And they are chained to each other and chained to the horned god. So this is definitely feeling like a repetitive karmic relationship. Like a karmic situation that you might get out of and then get back in and then get out and get in. It might be like an in and out kind of relationship is a little bit of what I'm feeling here. Either that, or you might be tempted to enter a lower vibrational relationship, or enter a relationship that you know isn't for you, but you just don't want to be alone kind of thing, is the feeling that I'm getting here. Or your guards are just down because you might feel a little bit lonely and want partnership, but be careful. It's much better to be alone and happy than in a relationship and miserable, right? All right, what else can you tell us about this Nine of Wands in reverse and the temptation here, Spirit? What else can you tell us about the Nine of Wands in reverse and the temptation, please? Why are they here? The Knight of Coins. That's the Knight of Pentacles. He's the slowest moving knight in the deck. It's also earth energy, Virgo. The nine, I keep saying the nine because we did get a Nine of Wands here. But the Knight of Pentacles has a red hat on. And if you notice closely, it has wings on it. Now, Mercury is your planet, and Mercury is known as the messenger god. So to me, this card feels a lot like incoming message. It feels like an incoming message, like a message that might be coming a bit slowly. Either that or you are dealing with a masculine earth sign. This does kind of feel like a spirit guide sort of energy, though, coming off this Knight of Coins. It feels to me like it's your spirit team a little bit coming in with a message, trying to get your attention. Get your attention away from this. The temptation with your guards down. This Knight of Coins definitely feels a bit ethereal. Not necessarily 3D. Okay, I want to get a card out of this deck to clarify this Knight of Coins. Look, yes, Virgo, look at the Knight of Coins. Look at his skirt. That is exactly what I saw in my meditation. I just got tingles on the back of my head. I was saying, like, I was trying to give you the definition of the card, but my soul kept telling me, no, this has to do with the angel, the spirit realm. This has to do with the ether. And then I put it together. Look at his skirt. That's what I saw on the angel in my meditation. Yes, this represents your spirit team. Look, messenger with the hat, Mercury. Messenger. Your angel has a message for you. They're trying to distract you or veer you away from this temptation. You know, the meditations, I always, like, I'm not a symbolist, like I'm not a professional symbolist. I'm trying to learn as much as I can about imagery and symbolism, but there is like symbolism in like literally everything. It's a lot to learn. So my meditations, I look them up later. Like I really research the symbolism behind what I see in my meditations later. So I feel like, yes, in my meditation, I saw the angel and he held out his hand and there was a milky rock, a key, and a single blade of grass. And look at this card. It's like the skirt, and he's also holding something in his hand here. And the pentacle represents earth, earthly realm. So I don't know, like the milky stone that was in his hand, it looked a little bit like a moonstone. But it didn't have the rainbow sheen like a moonstone did. It was more like maybe an agate that he was holding. I'm going to have to look this up later. But it was a milky, somewhat translucent stone that the angel was holding. And then a key, which is like doors, right? That opens doors. And then the single blade of grass. Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up later. But look, I knew that card was going to come out. I knew it. I knew it. Spirit guides. Exactly. This is a spirit guide. You have a guide, an angel that's trying to, what's the word? Redirect. Redirect you. Water, yes. Okay, Spirit, let's get 2 more shuffles, please. 1 more shuffle, actually. I need 1 more shuffle. All right, Spirit, what can you tell us about the temptation in the 9 of Wands here? And then the Knight of Coins, the angel coming through. What does the angel want to tell the Virgo collective that this story belongs to, please? What does the angel want to tell the Virgo collective? What does the angel want to tell them? Thank you. Ooh. Whoa. Look. Protection. Yes. Protection. Look. 9 of Wands in reverse. That's a lack of protection. That's leaving your guards down. I said, Spirit, what do you want to tell the Virgo collective? Protection. Protection. And then look what else came out, Virgo. Earth. That's you. That's your element. And then look, past life. Karmic temptations. Past life. Like, this is a lesson you've repeated many times. Not just in this lifetime, but in previous ones. And you haven't quite gotten the lesson yet. But Spirit is trying to guide you to the answer. This angel coming through is trying to guide you to the answer. Earth, past life, and protection, Virgo. Spirit is saying, yeah, you need to protect yourself against this energy. Perhaps your lesson here is self-worth. Enough to the point where you can namaste that shit and walk away instead of repeating a cycle, repeating a lesson, right? Virgo, let's see what the mystery card in the center here is. Let's see what it is. The Queen of Coins. But in the reverse. What did I just say? Self-love. Your lesson is self-love, Virgo. Loving yourself enough to not put up with other people's bullshit. The Queen of Coins in the upright. She's nurturing and kind and gentle to the world around her. In the reverse, she's that to herself. Self-love, baby. Self-love. This doesn't mean that you're cold or harsh to the world around you. No, that's not what this means. This means that you're both, you know? It's enough self-love and self-respect that you're actually able to give the love to the world around you. You know, self-sacrifice is not good because that wears you down. And if you're worn down and your energy is low, how are you going to be of good help and service to others? Like I know that you like being, Virgo. You're always thinking about other people and how to help. You're such a nurturing person. A loving, nurturing person. But it's very important for you to give that same amount of love you give to others to yourself. And to do that, you have to learn how to say no. It doesn't have to be in a mean or rude or snippy way, but it can be like, look, I love and I care about you, but I need to take care of myself right now. And if the other person loves and cares about you, they will understand. If they don't, then they are unevolved and you should express how you feel about that. Virgo. Spirit, thank you so much for these messages of self-love. What else do you have for the Virgo collective, please? Can you tell us more about the lunar eclipse and why it's here? A supercharged ending? What is the lunar eclipse here, Spirit? Why is the lunar eclipse here? Why is the lunar eclipse here? Okay, we got a flipper. The Five of Wands in reverse. That's an end to a conflict. That's the end to a conflict. Okay. Tell us more. Tell us more about this supercharged ending, an end to a conflict. What about it? What about it? Thank you. Oh, Virgo. 10 of Cups in the reverse. Something that you thought was going to be extremely fulfilling did not turn out that way. And you're looking for more harmony in your relationships. Yeah. Look, end a conflict. And you're seeking more harmony within your relationships. But you know what I'm getting here is the temptation card is here. It definitely feels like you might be tempted to get back into this relationship or try it again. Yeah, I would not be surprised if the Eight of Cups came out in the reverse here. It definitely has a curiosity, an edge of curiosity of wanting to try again with whatever this temptation relationship is. Okay, what else about the lunar eclipse and the Ten of Cups in reverse here, Spirit? What else for the Virgo collective regarding this? What else? What else can you tell us? What else can you tell us? Thank you. The moon in the reverse. The moon in reverse, Virgo. That's not tapping into your intuition. Or having a hard time tapping into your intuition. Or it's like, illusions. To me, the moon in the upright symbolizes shining light within the shadow. But in the reverse, it's like resisting the shadow. It, like, in my mind, I'm seeing, on a full moon, it can be very bright. It'll illuminate the entire night. But not if there's clouds. And that's the feeling I'm getting off of this. Not if there's clouds. And there's something that's clouding your judgment, Virgo. Let's ask. Spirit, what is clouding Virgo's judgment, please? What is clouding? What is clouding? Covering? Why can't I speak? Something doesn't want me to speak. Okay. Yeah. I'm seeing like eyes rolling. It's a very weird visual. I'm seeing like a crowd of people and they're all going like this. Like that, rolling their eyes. Very passive aggressive type energy. So there's something clouding your judgment here, Virgo. Let's find out what it is. Okay, that wanted to come out. What else? What else? What is clouding Virgo's judgment? What is clouding Virgo's judgment, please? Thank you. I knew this was going to come out. Look. Look. I felt it. I felt it. I swear. Look at the symbol. Look at the similarities between these cards. Look. This is the labyrinth. The similarities in these cards is just, there's no other two cards in the deck like it. And in the upright, this card is all about self-realization, right? A labyrinth, you're wandering around in a labyrinth and you hit dead end after dead end after dead end, but eventually you make it to the center of the labyrinth where there's a giant monster you've got to defeat. And once you defeat the monster, you collect the treasure and then you can exit the labyrinth. In the reverse here, I'm getting the same exact feeling I got off the moon in reverse. It's like something is clouding your judgment and you're unable, you're like stuck. You're like stuck at something. Let's see what the other cards are. You know, the labyrinth too, with the monster at the center. it's all symbolic, right? The monster at the center is our own ego, our own desire, our own shadow, our own trauma. The monster in the center of the labyrinth is our own trauma and spiritual obstacles we have to overcome. But once we do, there's a treasure. A treasure, a harvest energy. And we do have the farmer here. Let's see what the other cards are that came out. Okay, 7. This is a version of the 7 of coins. Yeah, harvest energy, 7 of pentacles. See, in this deck, if you're new to my channel, this is a very unique deck. It has multiple different versions of the same card. Instead of 78 cards in this deck, there's 128. So there are multiple different versions of the same cards, and there are cards in this deck that are not in the traditional tarot. But this is one version of the 7 of Pentacles. And if you can see, down here is a body. It's a rotten body with a tree growing out of it. And coins at the top. The fruit of a death, an ending. Yes, there's something that you need to overcome, some kind of deep trauma where you desire validity within a relationship. Like you desire to be needed, to be wanted. Needed. That's a really good word. That rang true in my head when I heard it come out my mouth. Like you desire so much to be needed, especially within a relationship, a romantic relationship. But I feel like this is what's holding you back. This deep desire to be needed and appreciated by others. I mean, it's always a great thing to be needed and appreciated by others. Absolutely, there's nothing wrong with that. But when you need to be needed and wanted by others, that's where the problem lies. That's where the validity, feeling valid, needing that reciprocity from others to feel good about yourself. And I feel like that's your hang up here. That's your hang up here, and why you might be tempted to go back into something that was not harmonious. Yes, that's what I'm getting. Look at this card. An ending needs to happen, a death of the ego. A death of ego. Ego death. Virgo, if it's not harmonious, really ask yourself why you want it. Is it to fulfill some deep void within you? That's an important question to ask yourself. Because why would you want something that's unhealthy? Let's see what the last card is here. The 8 of Swords. Look. Self-imposed prison. Look at her. Look, the first thing I noticed too, the blindfold for one, but for two, look what's behind her. Look at this big black circle. Lilith, the dark goddess, is also known as the Black Moon. Lilith is known as the Black Moon. She brings in chaos and destruction, but for a very good reason. Chaos and destruction is a catalyst in our life. It'll bring about lessons that you need to learn. It'll test you. It's a test. Absolutely. You really might feel held back by this temptation energy. But the irony of the Eight of Swords is that her blindfold is loose and her ropes aren't even tied. And there's a clear path forward, but she doesn't see that. Yes, your spirit guide, your angel that came through today wants you to have look, this card ended up in the very center of the reading, Virgo, and that's how I do my readings. Everything revolves around the center card. That's where everything emanates from. It's the main energy of the reading. Self-love. That's the theme of your reading here, Virgo. And this is what's going to free you from your self-imposed prison. That's the way forward. The way forward is to let go of what's not serving you and focus on what will. On harmonious relationships and interactions. And if it's not harmonious, then having the strength and courage to say no. Not in a mean or angry way. You don't have to. I mean, with Lilith is healthy expression of anger, but it doesn't have to be angry to say no. You can say no. But you have to hold firm. You have to stand firm. With the nine of wands here, that's a lack of boundaries. That's got your guard down. You can't be wishy-washy. You have to say it and you got to mean it. You can't say it now and then retract it later. You have to hold firm in your boundaries if you're going to set them. You have to know why you're setting them when you set them. Really think about it. All right, we've got to get a card out of the Oracle of the Pluto, especially because of Lilith in your sign, Virgo. We've got to get a card out of the Pluto Oracle. The Pluto Oracle is all about your shadow self, your deepest, darkest fears, your traumas and insecurities. It's so important for us to face those. There's just absolute magic when you can face your traumas and insecurities. It's magical. Not easy. Definitely not easy. And it takes a lot of time and a lot of thought. You have to really think, and you have to go back in time, right? Past life card here. You might really benefit from some past life regression therapy, but you have to really think about this. Think about your past. Think about what you went through in your childhood that might set you up for ending up in a not harmonious relationship. What is it about your partner that may be fulfilling some wound in some way? Like a trauma bond, right? A trauma bond. All right, 2 more shuffles. That's 1. That's 2. All right, Spirit. What do we have for the sign of Virgo out of this deck, please? Rooster. Puppet Master. Whoa. We got Rooster and Puppet Master. Okay, let's read about these cards. The rooster. The rooster, you know, there's usually in a flock, There are a lot of hens, but one rooster. So to me, the first thing I think of when I think of the rooster is a promiscuous man, a promiscuous masculine energy. The rooster gets around town. The rooster. There's Puppet Master. Okay, rooster. Snail, squirrel, rabbit, crow, camel, friend. Pigeon, goose, hermit crab, penguin, skunk, devil. Here we go. Rooster, number 57. Yeah, dominance. Dominance is the main energy. The rooster, meaning dominance. As the male half of this deck's poultry duo, the rooster exhibits incredible dominance. These birds are naturally territorial, aggressive, and in charge. If another rooster enters the flock, the two are quick to battle it out. Right, that's what I was saying. Like, roosters usually are the only rooster within a flock. There's one rooster and a lot of hens. If rooster energy is at play, you may find yourself being challenged by another alpha and having to assert your dominance. If this card has arrived alongside the hen, then you are in the arena of power plays. Who is in submission and who is dominant? If you are feeling territorial or jealous, ask yourself why. Is it necessary for you? Is it necessary for you to stand up for what's yours? Or is this a moment to hang back? It's also possible that you are disregarding the boundaries and needs of others to make sure you're the top dog. If that's the case, it's time to take a step back and recognize that relationships of all kinds work best when there is mutual respect for each other's autonomy. Just as you don't want to be stepped on, neither does anyone else. But we got the Hanged Man card here earlier in the reading, which is taking a pause, stepping back. To me, it feels like it's not you stepping on toes. It's this other energy, this temptation energy that's coming in and acting dominant and aggressive and might be, you know, entertaining other people, not just you. Because the next card we got out of this deck is the Puppet Master. Let's read the Puppet Master. Wait, first it says on here, further reflection on the rooster. Consider the concept of peacocking, a term used when someone is showing off and making themselves seem bigger and bolder than they really are. There is a fine line between confidence and arrogance. One is rooted deeply in insecurity and the need to overcompensate, whereas the other is steadfast and tends to be much quieter. True confidence does not need to be boasted or bragged about, and real leaders know the value in respecting the people who follow them. Yeah, you might be dealing with somebody who is a bit arrogant and domineering and boasts too much confidence, a little bit narcissistic. Definitely getting that vibe here. But the Puppet Master. Okay, let's read the Puppet Master. That's page 10. Here we go. The Puppet Master in this deck is a very interesting card because there's only a few cards in this deck that are not animals, and this is one of them. Puppet Master, meaning projection, distortion, the ego, and self-awareness. Remember I was talking about ego death? The gatekeeper to the depths of our psyches will always be the ego. The ego isn't fundamentally a bad thing. Much of psychology and spiritual work deals with acquiring the self-awareness to recognize when the ego has stepped into the limelight and we are acting from a wound. Yes, that's exactly what I was getting over here, Virgo. Like you want to be needed and wanted and loved. But to the point where you'll put up with an unharmonious relationship just for those little moments where you feel that. But in a positive and harmonious relationship, you feel that all the time. And they're hard to find, those happy, harmonious relationships. It takes two very evolved people to be in a happy, healthy, harmonious relationship. But it's not impossible. And like I said, I would much rather be alone, happy, alone, than in a relationship miserable. Wouldn't you? The puppet master represents this wounded ego and its lessons. Consider the artwork of the card for a moment. Notice how the head of the puppet master seems to form one of the heads of Cerberus, the dog shadow projected on the wall. Sometimes we are the victim of other people's projections, it's true, but oftentimes, we are the projector. If this card has appeared in a reading, it's time for you to figure out which is the case for you right now, keeping in mind that both can be true at once. Mindful awareness is required of you now to discern not only if you're acting from a wound, but also from which wound. If we're triggered in our trauma, the way things appear and or feel can be distorted. It's time to ground yourself. Carve out some space and time. Get quiet and wait for clarity to rise to the surface. A pause. It's time to step back and get clarity on this. Carve out some space and time. Get quiet and wait for clarity to rise to the surface, Virgo. It says, further reflection. Freud is famous for his psychoanalytic theory regarding the ID, the ego, and the superego. In everyday life, when we speak about the ego, we are often actually referring to the ID. This is the part of ourselves thought to be primitive and instinctual, motivated by certain impulses, including sex, food, aggression, and hidden memories. That's exactly what I was talking about, your trauma from your past, your childhood trauma, or even trauma from a past life. The superego functions as a moral conscious, and the ego is actually the go-between. Consider the three heads of the dog shadow in this card and how they might represent the three parts of Freud's theory. All three must work in synchronicity to function properly. There is no hierarchy. How can you align your ID, ego, and superego now? Are they all speaking the same language? Wow. Wow, Virgo. What a big lesson. What an important lesson. But not an easy one either. Our traumas can go really deep, especially childhood traumas. They can be really ingrained in us. They say that, while your brain is forming from the ages of 0 to 8 is like when you are programmed. And anything past 8 I mean, it's still programming, but it isn't as ingrained and hard to work through as any kind of trauma before the age of 8. But the first step is becoming conscious and aware of it. Meditation will really help. If you get somebody that's really well versed in past life regression therapy too, that can really, really help. Like a hypnotherapist. All right, Spirit, let's get 2 more shuffles. That's 1. That's 2. All right, Spirit, what else for the Virgo collective out of this deck, please? What else for the Virgo collective out of this deck, please? What else for Virgo, Spirit? What can you tell the Virgo collective that this reading belongs to? Thank you. Betrayal. Perhaps that's part of your deep-seated wounding. Something to meditate on, Virgo. Where in your past, in your life, did you feel gut-wrenching betrayal? And revisit that. I know it's not easy. It's not easy at all to go back there and to relive it. But I know for myself, something that's really helped me with this energy in my life is understanding that if you did nothing to deserve what happened to you, nothing bad enough to deserve what happened to you, people that do bad things to other people or are cruel or unkind to others are unevolved. Hurt people. They have their own wounding and trauma and they take it out on the world around them. And then when you can understand that people do what they do because they're hurt on the inside, you immediately feel a sense of forgiveness. I know I do, at least. Compassion. You feel compassion for them. And a sense of forgiveness. And that feeling of forgiveness, it's not just forgiveness for them, it's forgiveness for you. Because when you hold that vibration of forgiveness, it helps you more than it helps them. Yeah, absolutely. It helps you. And it helps you let it go. And you pray for them. You pray for love. You pray for healing. Yeah. It's a very freeing feeling to forgive. Forgive people. Isn't there a Bible verse? Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Yeah. And they're on their own path, you know, they're on their own journey. They have to learn their lessons on their own time. But when you forgive somebody, that doesn't mean you just let them be in your life. No. You walk away with your head held high with love in your heart. But you have to protect yourself, Virgo. You have to guard your own energy and give this love that you give to everyone around you to yourself, Queen of Coins in the reverse. All right. Anything else out of this deck for the Virgo collective, Spirit? Anything else out of this deck? Anything else? Anything else out of this deck for the Virgo collective? Whoa. Did you see that? Got a flyer. Oh, look. I want my hair to catch on fire. Look what we got. The ghost. The ghost. The ghosts of the past. Virgo. The ghost of betrayal. This card comes out so much in my readings lately. The ghost is a reappearing card. And look at how many cards are in this deck. And I've been getting that card so much lately. I really think it's the Pluto retrograde that's going on right now. It's the shadows, right? The ghost. It's the darkness, the shadows. Pluto retrograde is making us all face our shadows, our wounding, our trauma, our darkness. And it's catapulting our expansion. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, I love this. All right, Spirit, let's get one final card for the Virgo collective, please. One final card for the Virgo collective. Out of the little deck. Two more shuffles. Last shuffle. All right, Spirit. Any final words of advice or wisdom for the Virgo collective that this story belongs to, please? Any other words of advice or wisdom, please? What else for the Virgo collective, Spirit? What else? What else? What else for the Virgo collective? What else for Virgo? Thank you. Anything else? Anything else out of this deck? Anything else? Thank you. We got the man and the dog. Number 28 and number 18. The man and the dog. The man on this card, there's a heart behind him, and it looks like he's doing some kind of gymnastics, some kind of acrobatics. That definitely feels a little bit like Puppet Master energy, like circus Puppet Master. But we've got the man and the dog, and the dog to me symbolizes loyalty. Man and the dog. I feel like we need a clarifier for this one. At least for me. Maybe this makes sense for somebody out there. The man and the dog. Perhaps whoever you're dealing with is a man with a dog. It could be that simple. But symbolically, I mean, the man is masculine energy, and then the dog is a loyalty energy. This dog in particular looks kind of like nervous. It's like a greyhound or something. He's like looking back behind him and one foot is raised like he's on alert. Yeah, look. The dog is like looking back at the man here. The man is pulling stunts. He's like a stunt man. And the dog is like on alert with their foot up. Their back is facing them, but they're looking back at the man like performing tricks. It feels like this man is a stunt, or maybe like, yeah, we got the peacock energy too. The peacock is a show off. Remember, we got the peacock. Yeah, in the rooster card. Remember? It's like a boastful, egoic energy. Yes, this person might come in and show off for you and be very charming and lure you in with tricks and entertainment. And look, the dog is facing away from the man, but looking back. It's like, here it is. You're tempted. This person comes back in, pulling tricks and stunts to lure you back in. And here you are, tempted to go back. That's what that feels like to me, for sure. That took a little bit of effort to get the symbolism out of that. The message out of those two cards out. Let's get one final card. Anything else about the man and the dog? This wanted to fly out. The bear. Yeah. Spirit is saying, don't be this little skittish dog. Be a bear. Big and strong. You're stronger than you think. And you can stand up. You can stand up to this energy. Look at the spades down at the bottom. Virgo, it's time to give yourself all the love that you give to the world around you. Turn it around on yourself right now. It's time to take a step back, pause. Get in touch with your spirit guides, put up your boundaries, think about your lessons and where you came from. And stand up for yourself. And while you're in this pause, this repose, think about where you came from. Think about your life experiences, your traumas, your shadows, and how those play out in your life in ways that are not benefiting you. Now will be a perfect time for you to work through those shadows. Beautiful, Virgo. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It was an absolute pleasure to have you here and to read for you. If this reading was helpful and you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can be alerted each time I post a new reading. So thank you so much, Virgo. I hope June 2024 treats you well, and I cannot wait to see you again in the next reading. Namaste.